Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Farrell, the Worldwide Executive Director for Humanities Team, and welcome to this 30-minute keynote with Panache Desai. Panache is one of the foremost spiritual leaders of our time, whose teachings are at the vanguard of spiritual transformation. As we get started, I'd like to thank all of the people participating today on the Amplifield platform by phone, webcast, and replay. We have an enormous audience who have registered for Global Oneness Day and who are participating live during this summit. I also want to thank the tens of thousands who are participating in on-the-ground programs, including church events, programs in Mexico and Argentina, global rhythm circles, and other community events. This is our 7th year celebrating Global Oneness Day, and we've grown our number of registrations and listeners each year. Over 200,000 have registered to participate during this time frame. Thank you to each of you for helping Global Oneness Day become our Earth Day for an awakened humanity. I'm going to introduce our special guest now. Panache Desai is a contemporary spiritual teacher and inspirational visionary whose gift of vibrational transformation and message of love and self-acceptance has drawn thousands of people from around the world to his seminars and workshops. Not aligned with any religious or spiritual tradition, he empowers people to free themselves of pain, suffering, sadness, and self-limiting beliefs. He has committed his life to being a vibrational catalyst, empowering humanity in the deepest states of connection and awareness, and helping people everywhere to directly experience divine consciousness for themselves. Welcome to Global Oneness Day, Panache. It's great to have you with us.
Hi, Steve. Thank you, and lots of love to everyone joining us from around the world.
Awesome. Well, it's so good to have you with us here for this keynote this year, Panache. And let's go straight to questions and discussion because we've got a lot of ground to cover. And I thought I'd just start at the top. You share that the key to changing the world and changing your life and empowering those around you is authenticity, the willingness to be yourself. And can you talk a little bit about this, Panache?
We live under this common misperception that in some way who we are needs to be fixed, healed, changed, and improved. And actually, I've discovered through a direct experience of the divine that who we are on the level of our humanity, our ego, who we are on the level of our unconscious, who we are on the level of our emotionality, just needs to be accepted and embraced. And that the more we can do that, the more we access the inherent divinity that resides at our core. And so authenticity is nothing more than simply being honest with yourself about yourself. In that, there's a complete alignment between your personality and your soul. And at that point, you begin to access the gifts of abundance, health, love, and connection that reside there. And so it's been my honor, Steve, to guide people into this place of transparency, into this embodied state of oneness, where they can once again access everything that they already are. And of course, first and foremost, by embracing their divine design.
Wow, I love that, Panache. I love that because as you shared at the start, people are almost trying to walk away from themselves to find themselves, and you're saying, no, accept and embrace who you are. And then your inherent divinity, which is who you are, really comes into its fullness. I just love that. You empower people and invite them to live from the heart also as part of this process. Can you talk about the specific things that you recommend to people to live from the heart and experience what you call heartfulness?
I think one of the most important things is to actually place your attention or awareness in the area of your heart and to rest it there. I've discovered that the more I'm able to do this, my thought, words, and deeds are directed by the energy of love. And I'm not saying that that's the case all the time, but I'm saying that more often than not, the more I can simply rest my awareness in the space of the heart, the more my interactions become an expression of my divinity in this world. And I invite everyone now, actually, to just do that, to just simply place your awareness in your heart, in that beautiful golden heart of yours, because the heart is the hub of all sacred places. It's the space through which the divine gets to love its creation. And so in placing your attention there, you're giving yourself over to being a conduit for divine love in this world.
Wow, what I would love to do, Panache, we didn't talk about this, but is there anything experiential we could do, something short that where we could step through this process?
Absolutely. Everyone who's here, as long as you're not driving, close your eyes and open your palms and just take some breaths. We sit still in this way and open our palms to consciously acknowledge that we're ready to receive. Just take some deep breaths and just allow your entire physical body to let go. And what I would like you to do is to just focus your attention in the area of your heart. And as you're doing this, I just want to vibrationally support you in opening up completely and totally to the love that you are, to the love that you've always been. Because, my sweet friend, this is who you are at your core. And the more you start to simply allow yourself to feel whatever there is to feel, the more you begin to recalibrate your energy, your way of being, and your way of relating to the world around you. I'm going to lovingly ask also that all of our hearts be connected together, that this wonderful community that's here for Global Oneness Day, that we merge the love that we have together, that we allow this love to form a grid around this planet, and that we in this moment decide consciously to be love, to speak love, to act with love, to think of ourselves in the highest, so that we may in turn love one another freely and fully. Just continue to rest in the awareness of your breath, and I'd like you to just begin to get present to what's opening up in you. Notice if there's a shift in your state. Notice if you're present to some emotion. There may be some tears, maybe some residual anger or fear that arises. Or there may just be a litany of thoughts that you're present to. Either way, just know it's okay. Be in your experience. And be in the heart in the midst of your experience. Because to be in the heart in the midst of your experience is to live your life in the presence of God.
Oh, stunning. Stunning, Panache. And of course, this is the invitation, isn't it? Because we are all one. I love this keynote because, of course, you're going straight to the themes of Global Oneness Day, both at an individual level, where just as you shared in this experiential exercise, where we can open ourselves just to that, the love of the divine, of God. And, of course, we're expressions of that. We're daughters and sons of that, cells in the body of that, part of that presence. And so beautiful just in terms of opening ourselves to receive that and be that. But then this invitation as well to all of the listeners to create this grid around the planet, as you call it, where we're radiating that love, that presence to all of the planet. Just so beautiful. Thank you. Panache, one of the things I wanted to bring in is I noticed that more and more people are using this term that I think you created, soul signature. It's certainly where I first heard it.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, a soul signature, because people are relating to that and using that more and more?
Our soul signature is our authentic and unique expression. And so just like no two signatures are ever the same, in that same way, no two individuals are alike. And that's the magic of being human. Our individuality is the unique lens through which we get to express divinity. And that's why, to go back to my answer to the first question, it's so important that you start to accept and embrace who you are, Because in ending any and all forms of inner conflict, or ending any and all forms of inner inconsistencies or indiscrepancies, you come into a place of harmony. And in that, you're then fully aligned with the divine in every moment of life and living. And so soul signature is something that I brought into existence to help people come into the acceptance of themselves and to help them see themselves as divine beings. And then in turn, to empower them to then be an expression of that uniquely in this world. And so as much as we're all a part of this collective oneness, the magic is that we get to express oneness uniquely.
And Panache, of course, you, as I mentioned in your introduction, you do retreats and seminars, these programs that most people can reach virtually because you've set your programs up intentionally that way. We were just talking about this. As people come into the fullness of living as a divine being, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And I know one of the things you're emphasizing is there's diversity and oneness, so we all are expressing that in different ways. But are there common things that you might share that are part of this whole process that you're offering to people in your workshops and seminars?
Yeah, what I've noticed in a very tangible way, Steve, is that there are two major signs of awakening. The first is less reactivity. People become less reactive, which means that they're more conscious than they are unconscious, which means that they're more aware than they are unaware. And then the second major thing is they experience heightened synchronicity. It's almost as though the more we end our resistance to being ourselves, whether it be because we're afraid of our magnificence and all of the greatness that resides within us, or whether we've been told or conditioned in some way that we're inadequate or we're less than, either way, when we can simply start to accept who we are, and of course integrate the unresolved emotional content that's there, something that I've come to call density. It's just basically vibration. Emotion is just vibration. But repressed or suppressed emotion vibrates at a lower rate. And ultimately it limits our potential to fully exhibit our innate divine qualities of love, health, abundance, connection, intimacy, creativity, empathy, compassion. And so what's been unfolding through the online programs and through the in-person events is that people have been provided a radical platform for self-acceptance, and then also they've been provided a way to access the underlying emotion that is the root cause of all of their dissonance. It's the root cause of all of their limitation. In fact, it's the root cause of all human suffering. In a human being who's fully accepted themselves and fully experienced everything within them, all there is light. And so what's been happening, my sweet friend, is that people have been coming in with relationship issues or with financial issues or, wanting to be more loving or wanting to be more creative or wanting to create a company or wanting to, move further ahead in their expression as the entry point. And as we've walked them through this process of vibrational transformation, which is the integration of all unresolved emotional content or psychological content, they've literally come out the other side experiencing greater levels of oneness and connection. And it's just been phenomenal to see that happen, both online and in person, and in people from all over the world, regardless of their nationality, their religious background, their race, their gender, their choice of sexual expression, regardless of all of these external factors that often divide us. We've been able to create oneness and create unity and create expansion and promotion and increase in everyone that's called to participate. Wow,
this is such an important thing. I was going to ask you about vibrational the vibrational empowerment next, and we walk straight into it here as we're talking about releasing this density, this suppressed emotion that vibrates at a lower level. I'm guessing that people are riveted to this topic. It's such a hugely important topic. I know we can't distill this down to a few sentences, but and you've talked about this a little bit just now. But is there more you can share about this? Because I would guess all of us could find something here.
Absolutely. So we're vibrational beings, and we exist in a vibrational reality. And when I experienced the divine, I just experienced it as an infinite ocean of energy with no beginning and no end. It's just pure vibration and resonance. And the feeling associated with this was just of love, but beyond any classical human definition of the word. Like, you can't define it. That's why when Oprah asked me to give my definition of God, I couldn't. There was nothing I could say. Because any and all ways in which we define God limit who or what God is. And in this experience, it was shown very clearly that we as human beings exist on different vibrational levels. The subtlest level is soul. We all have a soul, but very few of us will live in communion and connection with it. The layer beyond the soul is the emotional layer. And that's where, through this conditioning that we've received of repression or suppression, or the modeling that we receive from our parents around emotion or society, that's where we've accumulated this density. So, for example, the tears that we don't cry become depression. The anger that we don't express becomes rage. And the fear that we won't feel just becomes irrational and overwhelming and irreconcilable. The layer beyond the emotional layer is the mind, and then the layer beyond the mind is the physical body. And so as we look at the transformational model, the place where the greatest shift needs to occur is, first of all, on that emotional level. Because it's almost like our emotional density enshrouds our soul's natural capacity to be expressed through our physical form, through our mind, through our body, and most importantly of all, through every single area of life and living. And so when I started to simply sit with people and simply be with them, I noticed over and over again that it was this density that would start to come up in them. They would either start to access their sadness, or access their fear, or access their anger. And as this emotion would begin to move through, as this energy and motion would begin to be liberated from them, all of a sudden their lives would transform. And that's how vibrational transformation came into being. And the blessing of this is that what's happening is that we're actually just being restored to our natural state. We're just lovingly being reminded that who we are is enough, that who we are is a blessing, that who we are is a unique manifestation of the Most High, and that the more we're willing to be that, the more our life can take off, the more our life begins to amplify, the more our life begins to bring us into alignment with our heart's deepest desire.
Stunning, Panache. Really stunning. And I just, as I listen to you, the thing I feel is just God smiling, God, which, the divine, which is within and in the clouds and everywhere, just smiling and saying, right on, Panache. Because it just feels to me like you're giving expression to truth, to ultimate reality, that this is, we are all these precious, just most loved daughters and sons, parts, expressions of the divine. And it's awful that we're not always in touch with that, because the divine is always in touch with that. And so just so stunning. I love this process. So do you, Panache, your process of creating vibrational empowerment, where you lead people through these exercises, you're having some success with this? You mentioned, where you sit down with people, you can you get in touch with their density. You're kind of sharing very personally. and things come up, energy, emotion that's released, and they're coming into this state of vibrational empowerment of their own divinity. You're having good success with this process?
Yeah, I've noticed that even the most resistant of us, or the most afraid of our magnificence of us, is now at a tipping point, or this point of revelation, where we all know that the game's up, right? Like, we all know that fear, lack, and scarcity just simply isn't working anymore. And even the most resistant of us, the most resistant to our magnificence among us, is actually now at a point where, in their evolutionary cycle, because of everything that's happened on the planet, and because of all of my incredible brothers and sisters that have come before me, that have written incredible books and shared incredible processes and held the vibration on this earth, we're now at a point where individuals, not just the ones that are on this call, but individuals from all over the world who wouldn't ordinarily be drawn to this material are being drawn to it. And it's actually impacting them in a profound way as well. And so I'm feeling this year, this is a year of divine emergence, that we're on the verge of more of a mainstream application of all of this. And that for me now, it's been about translating that absolute experience into a relative form that becomes accessible to people in as many different ways as possible. And so I'm currently engaged in one of the most heightened periods of creativity I've ever experienced. And I'm now actively creating as many different avenues and doorways to oneness as there are possible. And I'm having an absolute blast. And so the impact of what's happening is amplifying, it's magnifying, and also we're now at a point where people can serve as a catalyst for others. And so there's an empowerment happening to where now other people can become facilitators of other people. And so the entire framework is shifting from a one-to-many framework to a many-to-many framework. And in doing so, we're dissolving a lot of the old paradigms of hierarchy, of authority, of student and teacher. We're collapsing everything that's existed before us through the complete and total empowerment of every single one of us. And that's so cool and so exciting to see and experience. So I know I gave you a long answer, but the short answer is yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And the year of divine emergence, and then this empowerment that's now at a many-to-many framework. So Panache, and of course I feel into this also, that this birth already occurred. We're maturing the child, and you've given just such a rich expression to what it is that to mature a child. What is going on? What do you say to people that in Europe, of course, with immigration and Brexit fears and things, and then in the U.S. with the polarity in politics, what do you say to people that say, oh, my gosh, I'm so hopeful, Panache, based on what you're sharing, but as I look out at the world, I see a lot that makes me fearful.
Seek the evidence of that which you wish to experience. Catch people being good. Catch people in moments of kindness, generosity. Catch people in moments of love for no reason. Catch people when they're fully aligned. And the more we collectively empower that, the more that will become the dominant vibration on this planet. And as much as I want you to acknowledge it in other people, I'd like you to first and foremost acknowledge it in yourself. When you're in the grocery store and all of a sudden there's an elderly lady in front of you who's fumbling to reach for her wallet, or maybe doesn't know how to use the credit card machine, instead of getting to a place of frustration, that's your moment to be oneness in action. That's your moment to simply hold a space for her, even though the rest of the line may be furious, and they may be thinking, well, you know what, this is taking up time, this is taking up moments of my life I can't get back. It's in that situation that you have the opportunity to make a difference. It's in the classroom, if you're a teacher with your kids, that you get to make the difference. Because human beings don't learn cognitively. We learn through modeling. We are the end result of what was modeled to us. Therefore, we are now at a point where we must model oneness as best as we can in the world and empower that. And the more we can empower that and the more we can model that, the more people have a framework to relate to oneness as an applied, manifest, accessible way of being. And when they see it, they'll know it. And when they know it, they'll pass it on, they'll pay it forward. And that's the opportunity that we have.
Yes, we do. And what a wonderful invitation for everyone that's part of Global Oneness Day this year, and for everyone on the planet for that matter. And, of course, this is so much in line with the theme of Humanity's Team this year, experiencing our own divinity and standing in the shoes of the other. So this invitation here that you're extending to acknowledge this love, this peace, this blessing, this innocence in ourselves, and then to model that and to be that, be oneness in action to another in need. I just love it. It's so perfect, and it does, and it so aligns with what we're focusing on here this year in 2016. Just stunning, Panache, and we're coming up here on the end of our keynote. Can you just share how people can be in touch with you and follow your work, Panache?
Sure. You can go to my website, which is PanacheDesai.com. It's PanacheDesai.com. You can find me on Facebook and join an ever-expanding community of people there, or on Twitter, or through all the other social media platforms that we're on. And I look forward to meeting you either online or in person soon.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Panache Desai. My God, what a really, truly profound, thoughtful, and inspiring conversation. And I want to thank you so much, Panache Desai. Really exceptional. These things that were invitations you're extending to each of us individually and to the collective, to all of humanity and the earth. Just stunning. I also want to thank the 2016 Global Oneness Day co-creators and my Humanities Team colleagues and partners who have worked so hard planning and producing Global Oneness Day. Finally, I want to thank each of you for participating in Global Oneness Day. I want to invite you to go to Panache's keynote event page to share your comments and inspirations. That's at globalonenesssummit.org. You can go to the event schedule page and leave your comments for Panache. Next up is the Evolution of Spirituality panel. Join internationally renowned teachers Gene Houston, Irvin Laszlo, and Dwayne Elgin. I'll be moderating this panel. This panel will talk about how far we've come as a human species, where we are now, and where we're going. It's going to be a very exciting conversation. Before we go to our next program, we're going to enjoy a oneness moment and experience 10 seconds of silence so we may connect with the divine within and each other. Let's go ahead and begin our oneness moment now.